Today we have Jinh Yu Frey. How are you?
I'm great, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you for coming on. Let them know like who you are, what you're about, and yeah, what you do.
Well, I'm a professional mixed martial artist. I'm the current SCS atomweight champion, and my current professional record is 2 wins and no losses.
Nice, nice. And yeah, your last fight, if people don't know, you know, your last fight, you knocked out your opponent like crazy. It was one of the craziest knockouts, and it's literally gone viral all over the internet. Like, how many views have you had on YouTube? It's like something ridiculous.
It's like 2.2 million or something. It is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you know, that knockout. Are you like getting considered for knockout of the year? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, let the people know, how did you get into MMA fighting? And you know, are you usually this like, are you normally like a fighter like that, always been into fighting and stuff?
No, like my very first amateur cage fight was like the first fight I'd ever been in my entire life.
Really?
Like I wasn't one of those knuckleheads that was just like always, you know, trying to start fights or fighting in school. I had never been in a fight before. I'd never hit anybody like as hard as I could before.
Wow. So how did you get into MMA?
I was actually just going to a local gym, just trying to get in shape, and they had started an MMA program. Like, it was just a normal gym, but they also had the MMA program, and so I started doing like their strength and conditioning classes.
Okay.
And there was actually a girl in there who never had anybody to work with, and so she would always ask me to stay for kickboxing or stay for jiu-jitsu. And so then after like, you know, 4 or 5 months, I was there every night, you know, for 3 hours doing all these classes with her. So then after a while, I kind of felt like it was something that I could do as well.
Yeah, so you started really enjoying it, and you just started thinking that you could participate in the actual sport.
Yeah.
Wow. So your friend, when she saw your knockout, she must be like, damn, like that girl owes me something. You know?
You know, I actually, she's not even fighting anymore, so I'm not even sure if she's like really aware. And you know, she's got a new job, and she's moved kind of across the country, and so like I said, she's not even fighting anymore, so I don't even know if she's,
I'm sure she must have seen the video on YouTube and be like, damn, I brought her to all of those classes, I was the one that showed her. So yeah, no, that's great.
I know, right?
That's great. So like, obviously you've only had two fights. What are you looking to do? Like, when's your next fight?
Well, I've had a couple of pretty big offers since, you know, the video kind of went all crazy.
Yeah.
I did break my hand, and so I'm kind of out for a few months.
Yeah, I heard.
It's healing really well, and I went to a pretty phenomenal hand surgeon, so everything looks really good. I'm already pretty much regaining complete control of my hand, but you know, he said it would probably be a few months before I could actually use it to impact or punch anything.
Because you know what, let's just talk about that knockout. Like, for people that don't know, you know, like, it was just absolutely crazy. I mean, you just gave a kick to the head, and then was it your left? You threw your left? It was a left, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh my gosh, it looked like she was gone from then. Like, she was just literally like knocked out, and then I'm sure you tried to go for a next one as well right after that. And so if you could like go through from your mind, like, how did the knockout, you know, come about, and like what went through your mind at that time?
Well, you know, I was kind of just taking my time and trying to feel her out, because it's a 25-minute fight, so I was like, you know, I've got plenty of time, and so I was just kind of taking my time and trying to read her reactions, and actually in the warm-up, my corner had really been wanting me to warm up head kicks, and so I was doing it, but I was kind of like in my head, I really don't throw them that often, so I was like, you know, I'm not going to throw this, but you know, I'm just warming up. And so it's funny, like, my corner, like, the entire time is screaming at me, throw the head kick, throw the head kick. And so finally I'm like, okay, fine, I'm going to throw it. And so I did, and then, you know, it landed, but she had her hand up, and so I felt like she had blocked it. But, you know, when I looked at her, I guess it had kind of stunned her, and her hands just dropped, and she's just kind of staring at me. So I was like, oh, I need to capitalize on this, and I need to hit her.
Wow. Yeah, and you
So
just threw that
it was
left.
kind of a funny thing.
And was it then that you broke your hand when you threw that left, and then boom, like she was gone?
Yeah. Yes.
And did you know that you broke your hand straight away?
Well, the second time that I hit her when it connected, luckily it wasn't a really good solid punch because the ref was already pulling me off. But that second time I hit her, I was like, wow, that kind of hurt.
Okay.
And then, I was just kind of excited and had all the adrenaline going, and so I didn't really realize until afterwards when I saw the doctor and we took off my glove.
But you know what? That knockout was crazy. Like, if you look at the amount of different sites that went on, man, like, it got a good reaction, and a lot of people, were interested after that. And obviously, it brings a lot of attention to you. And, the fight before that, so who was the person that you fought before?
It was a girl named Megan Wright.
Uh-huh.
I was just going to say that she had fought previously. She was like a last-minute replacement for Invicta, which is like the all-women's huge promotion here in the United States.
Uh-huh. And you beat her by rear naked choke, right?
Yes.
And all of them are first round wins as well, which is amazing. You end them quickly.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to have to fight for 25 minutes.
Coming before that then, so before your professional record, how long was you fighting like amateur?
Probably about 4 years. And in that time, I think I had about 6 fights.
Okay.
And they were just, they were really spaced out. Like, it was really hard to find opponents in my weight class and nearby, because promotions really don't want to fly amateurs just too far. So it was really hard to find opponents. And I actually wanted to keep fighting amateur, but it was just so hard to find opponents.
Yeah.
And my friend, she had gone pro, and she said, once you go professional, people will fly you all over the place, so it's a lot easier to find opponents.
Okay.
And there's less chance of them dropping out because they have to sign a contract.
Of course.
She's like, even though you feel like you may want more experience, the fights are going to happen a lot closer and a lot more often if you just go professional.
Great, cool. So you went pro, and now you've won your 2 last fights. Yeah. So have you got another opponent lined up who you're thinking of fighting next?
Not really. I was just going to kind of wait and see what opens up. Like I said, I've had a couple of promotions reach out for me, but with my hand, I don't want to make any promises anywhere until I see, like I said, it seems like it's healing really well, but I don't want to, sign any contracts or, have somebody else getting ready to fight me, and then come to find out, it's going to be a longer healing process.
Yeah, of course.
What we had expected.
So how long do you normally train before a fight? Like, so a fight's going to happen. Since you've gone pro, like how long do you give yourself to get ready for a fight?
I try to stay in pretty good shape all the time. And so I'd kind of like to have at least 3 or 4 weeks ahead of time just to really start sharpening all my skills. And, especially for these title fights that are 25 minutes long, then that gives me time to get my cardio up to where it needs to be.
Okay, amazing. And what styles do you do? For people that don't know, what style of fighting do you use?
When I first started, I really liked striking, and that's all I wanted to do. And I actually won my first amateur fight by knockout, and so I was like, okay, I can just do striking, and that of course that'll be enough. And then I won my first 2 amateur fights, and then my third one I lost by submission. And then after that, I was kind of like, well, maybe it would be best if I start learning what to do on the ground. And so I've started I moved to a new city and got into a new gym, and it's a ground-based gym, and so I've really made just huge strides in my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu in the past year, training at this gym. We have a lot of really, really talented fighters. We have a couple, one guy who's had a couple of fights in the UFC. We have 2 other guys who currently fight in the bantamweight division in the UFC. So nice. I really am surrounded by
just great fighters,
just really talented fighters.
Oh, great. So you say that you never had a fight before you stepped in the ring. So what kind of a person are you on the outside? Are you into watching fighting? Was you ever into that kind of stuff?
I really wasn't aware that it was even going on, I guess. And it's kind of funny, like that there was just a fight that was on like local cable. I mean, it wasn't on Showtime or anything like that. And so I was just flipping through channels and I saw it, and that was the first time I'd ever seen it. Like I wasn't even really aware that it was even going on.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. You know, my father's Korean, and he did taekwondo, and so my brother did taekwondo, and so I was kind of around combat sports a little bit, but I never participated in it. But I've always been kind of a competitive person. Like no matter what I do, even if it's like mowing the lawn, I'm going to mow the lawn faster.
Yeah, of course.
And so it just kind of piqued my interest seeing it on TV.
Nice. So a lot of people as well. I've seen a lot of people asking, so what are you? What's your background? So what is your background? So you say that your father's Korean.
Yeah. Yes, and my mother's Caucasian. She was adopted though, so we're not really sure. But
okay.
You know, she's got like bleach blonde hair and green eyes, so she's very Caucasian looking. So.
Wow, yeah, because I think you've got a lot of fans as well, a lot of male fans. You know, they're like, wow, where are you from? Which is good as well, because it's rare to see, you know, a young beautiful lady but fighting such an aggressive sport.
Yeah, like most people see me, and I guess I'm just not a very mean-looking person, and so people are always kind of surprised. Plus, I'm just so small, and everybody's always so surprised to hear that it's what I do as a hobby. Like I actually enjoy doing it.
Yeah, what's your hobby? I beat people up. Yeah, next time anyone asks you, you just show them a YouTube link, and you don't even have to say anything. You know, you just show them that link, and that will speak for itself.
Mm-hmm. You know, the funniest thing, like last night, my husband and I, we went out to a pub just to have you know, a whiskey, and there were some guys sitting next to us talking about this. You know, there were some fights showing on the TVs, and then these guys just started talking about this crazy video of this chick knocking somebody out. And so we kind of start listening, and sure enough, they were talking about me, like these random people sitting next to us in this bar.
That's crazy.
So it's kind of funny. It's a little bit surreal.
It must be surreal. It must be surreal. But that knockout, honestly, like you must have known when you knocked her out, you were thinking this is big.
You know. At the time, I was just kind of surprised. I was like, wow, I didn't expect it to end so quickly like this.
Yeah.
You know, I expected, I went in thinking, knowing that I was going to win, and, you know, expecting to finish her, but I wasn't expecting it like that quickly in that fashion.
Yeah. So what else do you do other than, so you fight as a hobby? What do you do in your spare time, like in the rest of the time, if you're not training or if you're not in the ring?
Well, I work full-time. I have a degree in nuclear medicine, and I work at a cancer center during the day. So that usually takes up most of my daytime hours, and then I'm in the gym in the evening. I just started graduate school. Yesterday was actually my first day of class. So I'm a full-time graduate student, and I work full-time, and I'm going to try my best to continue training throughout.
Wow.
So that I can
you're a busy lady.
You know, I want to ride this momentum, and I feel like I'm in a really good place right now, so I'd like to keep going with it. So I'm kind of a busy girl, I guess.
Yeah, no, you're really busy. How do you keep, like, everything, you know, because obviously having to work and then you're a student as well and then to train, like, how do you keep everything prioritized? And, you know, the programming must be so, you know, specific. Like, everything has to be kind of on schedule. Is that how it works for you?
Yeah, with my work, I've talked to him to see maybe if I could cut back on my hours some if I need to. The good thing about school is that I only have to take one class at a time, but it's at an accelerated pace, and so every 5 weeks I switch to a new class. But like I said, I don't have to study for 2 or 3 different classes. It's just one class.
Yeah.
And then, you know, in my free time at work, if I'm just sitting around, I pop up in a book and just go ahead and start, you know, reading through the material. Any spare second I have, I'm trying to stay up on that. That way, in the evenings, I can still go and train.
Cool. That's amazing. You know, that's props to you, because, you know, I just find training alone, and getting into the gym is hard enough, and many people would agree with me. So for you to do all of those things as well, that's, you know, hats off to you. So let's talk about a little bit about your training. So how often do you train in the week?
You know, when I'm not fighting, I try to go 3 or 4 times a week. Just because I've been doing it so long, it's just such a normal part of my daily routine that I just don't even think about it. Like, I just go to the gym. It feels good to work out. It feels good to see everybody. And it's not like I have to make myself go to the gym. It's just like, it's without even being said, I'm going to go to the gym tonight.
So if you're not about to fight and you go to the gym, so what kind of workouts are you doing?
I'll do kind of some. Well, there's the gym that I go to. It's a big jiu-jitsu school, and so sometimes I'll just jump into class and do the technique, and we'll do 35 or 40 minutes of just rolling. But then we also kind of have a smaller group of fighters. Like, that's just kind of the general people who want to learn jiu-jitsu. But then we also have like a pretty good group of fighters and own practice. Like, we get in the cage while everybody else is out on the mats.
Okay.
And we'll do wrestling, or we'll do situational drills or that sort of thing. Since we have like so many fighters, usually somebody at some point in time has a fight going on all the time. So usually you're just jumping in there to help do rounds with them or help them get ready. So it kind of just depends on, I feel like, if I want a little more mellow workout, then I'll just jump in the class and roll in the jiu-jitsu class. Okay,
and then and if you feel a little bit more like you want a hard workout, then you jump in and is it like sparring? Like, you're not, or is it you're fully going in with the person, like actually fighting with them?
It's like, we kind of divide it up. Like, some days we just do wrestling, some days it is sparring. Usually when it's sparring, they'll send me a message, say, hey, can you make sure you're going to be here this night because so-and-so needs to get in sparring rounds.
Okay. And do you do any sort of like strength conditioning training?
I really don't, just because I don't have the time for it. And I don't have a membership at another gym. I guess now that I'm in school, I have access to the schools. But I just really don't have time to go and lift weights somewhere, and I don't really like lifting weights. I feel like the best conditioning I can have is just doing what it is I'm training to do.
Of course. Cool. And so, what weight are you at the moment? What are you fighting at?
Right now?
Yep.
Probably about 113, 114.
Okay, cool. And are you looking to stay at that sort of range and carry on fighting at that weight, or are you gonna try and go up, or?
No, I'm pretty comfortable at the 105 division, and it's kind of strange. Like, before, like I said, women's MMA just wasn't that big. It was so hard to find fights, and so I was always fighting up in weight, and it's strange to almost like the last two fights I've been the bigger fighter, and that's just such a new feeling. It's so strange to be the bigger person.
Yeah, of course.
The sky's the limit, and I started out, this was just a hobby, this was something that I wanted to do, and even as an amateur, I was like, I'll probably never go pro. This is just, I'm not trying to make a career out of this.
So you didn't even want to go pro, you just wanted to kind of like do it just for like, just a hobby, just for the fun of it, and then when you started like actually...
Just because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And now like so many amazing opportunities are opening up, things that I just never even imagined would have been possible. So now it's hard to say. I've just started graduate school, and that's important to me. But but I don't want to ever look back in my life and say I should have pursued that avenue. Like, I regret not trying to see how far I could get. So I'm like, it's hard to say now. I'll just play it by ear and see how it goes, I suppose. So
do you often like watch UFC and fighters in there?
Oh yeah. I like eat, sleep, and drink fighting.
Yeah. So who do you like at the moment? Like, who's your favorite fighters?
Miriam Nakamoto is probably one of the baddest women on the planet.
Yeah.
She her striking is really awesome. I'm pretty excited that she's just made the transition over to MMA. I have so many favorites. Masato was one of my favorites. He's retired now, and he was just a kickboxer, but he was one of my favorites. I like this new guy, Conor McGregor. He's a good old Irish boy, and I'm digging him.
Yeah, no, of course. How hard do you find it hard to get ready for get the weight before a fight? Like, so to go down from say like 113 to 105. How hard do you find it?
It's not too bad. my husband, he's going to school for a nutrition degree, and so he really handles all that, and he's really good with it. Like, we don't eat, and all the time we eat pretty healthy. We don't eat processed foods. We only eat organic, and that's all the time. That's not even just in fight camp. So I'm always pretty lean. That being said, I don't have a lot to lose, so it does take a lot when I work out.
Yeah, of course.
Not every day, and I'm already eating healthy to do a little extra to get it down.
And what is that? Is that extra cardio? Are you doing like extra cardio workouts, or like a little bit more circuits, or what kind of stuff are you doing? Like sort of fat burning exercises to just get that weight down? Yeah, just a little extra cardio, and then just start really cutting out. Like I'll start cutting out dairy products and cheese and that sort of thing that are kind of high in fat. Yeah. And just start cutting down portions too. So, and then the last couple of pounds is always water. So, of course. I won't say it's been too terrible. It's not been a great time, but I've definitely had a lot easier cut than a lot of people I've seen. So, of course. So straight after the fight, you go back in and go and order the biggest takeaway, or go to a restaurant and just eat like your face out, or do you kind of keep it healthy even after the fights? It's like when I'm cutting weight, I'm like, I have this list in my head. I'm like, I'm going to eat this, and I'm going to eat this, and all these things that I'm craving. And then afterwards, I'm kind of, it's like, I just wanted it at the time when I was cutting weight because I couldn't have it. But then, of course. I still keep pretty healthy. Like, we eat so healthy that I just, like, unhealthy food's really not that appetizing to me. It really upsets my stomach, and so it just doesn't sound that great. Yeah, no, do you know what? Sometimes when you eat clean as well, and then you go into eating, because my belly's really sensitive. Like I eat clean, but anytime I do like have sort of kind of like bad foods, like my belly just doesn't, it's like my body's just rejecting it out of the system, and it just doesn't like it. So that's good, because you really look lean. I was going through some of your pictures, and like getting ready for a fight, like you're looking really lean, and you're looking in really good shape. I think I have really good genes too, because everybody's so amazed that I don't lift weights. They're like, wow, you're really lean and really cut. How do you do that not lifting weights? And I just work out, and that's just how I look. Have you ever lifted weights before? Have you ever kind of tried to do any sort of strength work or anything like that? My last amateur fight was a title fight, and it was in Las Vegas, and so I was really kind of excited about it, and I was like, maybe I should start lifting weights, maybe I need to be stronger. And I had started at a CrossFit gym, and I was doing CrossFit in the morning, and then doing my fight specific training in the evening. And I did it for like a month, I think, and it just really burned me out. Like, it was just too much. Yeah, you must have been burnt out. I would get up early, I would do CrossFit, I'd go to work, and then I'd come home, and then I'd go to the gym. Like, it was just, like, it burned my body out. And so by the time I got to that fight, I had a really poor performance. I felt like, I didn't win the fight. I lost by a decision. But, I just felt so burnt out. Like, I didn't feel hungry for the fight. My body was so exhausted. So like, it was just too much. It became detrimental. I just think that with the amount of time that I have, I don't have time to devote to lifting weights. Yeah, no, do you know what? That's right, because it's it's like a law. Like, if you overburn and overtrain yourself, it's just detrimental to your training and to your like mental mind. You start losing your focus, and everything goes out the window. Your hunger, like you said, it just isn't as strong. So no, that's really important. Do you have anything that you say before that you used to like to sort of strike? Do you have any sort of favorable things you like more ground and pound now than striking, or have you always just been a striker? I'm kind of on the fence about it. I do enjoy striking, and it makes for a little bit more exciting fight. Obviously I just won by knockout, and that was super exciting. So that makes you kind of want to keep doing that. But I've really come to embrace wrestling, and I really enjoy wrestling now. How long have you been wrestling for? For most fans that maybe for most fans who aren't knowledgeable about wrestling, that doesn't make for an exciting fight for them. So I'm kind of on the fence about it. Like, I want to be exciting, because that's what's going to make people want to see people want to watch me. But I really enjoy the skill and the effort Yeah, no,
and
of
the
course.
just determination it takes to wrestle. Those people that wrestle are just so tough. They just grind it out.
I know, it must be so tiring as well. I mean, how long have you been wrestling for? Like, how long did you start getting, you said that you moved to your new town, and then that's when you started actually wrestling.
I would say maybe for like the last year, maybe since like last September, after my last amateur fight.
Yeah. And do you feel that there's a... Yeah.
And then... I'm sorry?
Yeah, do you feel like there's a big difference between when you're fighting amateur to how you're fighting now in like the professional fights?
Yes, like my training camp has just completely changed, and I was at that gym, and I was, there are a lot of really talented people there, but I kind of wasn't. Since I was kind of new, I still kind of wasn't in that like professional fighting clique where they do just really hard training sessions that are really geared towards people who are fighting.
Yeah.
Like I was still kind of just doing the general jiu-jitsu classes, and so I kind of made my way into that little inner circle, where they make sure and they're letting me know when the training sessions are, and make sure I'm there and making sure that I'm getting what I'm needing.
Excellent. And obviously,
so that's been the big change since my amateur career.
No, good, because do you know what? Like, honestly, like everything that you're doing, you seem like you're really on the way to the top. And obviously, where there's the women's MMA fighting is still on a come up, but like honestly, you've made such a sort of impact within the last like couple of weeks, with that knockout. I mean, I'm sure that you're gonna get a lot more fights, and you're gonna have a lot more opportunities. Like, do you get nervous before fighting?
It's weird. Like before my amateur fights, like I didn't feel like I was ever really nervous. I'm like, I've done all I can do. I'm just gonna go in there but now it's like these last two professional fights. I don't know if now because it's in my head that I'm a professional and it really matters now. But the last two times I've kind of been nervous. And also, like the last two times I've had a lot of friends and family come and see me.
Wow.
So then I think that adds
more pressure.
The pressure that I'm like, okay, I don't want everybody to make the trip and then I lose.
Yeah, that shouldn't even be on your mind. I'm sure you won't even think that. So you see, your first professional fight, was that for the belt, or was it the last fight that you won the belt?
It was actually my first professional fight. That was for the belt. I think this promotion just really kind of wants to get in on the whole like women's MMA, and they wanted to have a female champion, because I was like, well, this is just my first fight, I'd much rather fight 3 5-minute rounds than 5 5-minute rounds.
Of course.
As an amateur, all I fought were 3.
Did you ever train for the 5 minutes?
So going from 3 3s to 5 5s is a huge jump.
It's crazy. Did you ever train for the 5-minute rounds, or was you always training like for 3-minute round like sessions, or when as soon as you knew that it was going to be a pro fight for the belt, it's going to be 5 minutes, did you like up your game? Did you do a little bit more work just so you could have the endurance to last for the 5 minutes?
Yeah, for sure. Like I had always trained like 3-minute rounds before, and then when I was going to make my professional debut, I switched over to 5-minute rounds, and then I usually do, if it's 5 5s, then I usually do 7 or 8 rounds. So 7 or 8 rounds of sparring, 7 or 8 rounds of wrestling or grappling, just to make sure that I know what that exhausted feeling is, and then I can keep going.
That's amazing. So do you feel like you have anything that you really need to work on? Like, because watching you, I've watched a few of your videos, and you seem like quite a good all-rounded fighter. You don't seem like that there's much flaws, like that you're really awful at one sort of style or anything like that. So do you feel like you want to improve as well on anything in particular within the near future?
There's always things that anybody can learn, and anybody can always get better. But like you said, I don't feel like there's any one area where I really need to work. But I feel like I'm kind of getting to be a well-rounded fighter now. But like I said, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure you're going to be throwing
not one single thing that I feel like I need to focus on.
I'm sure you're going to be throwing a few more of those high kicks in a few more fights, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be expecting those as well. So maybe you need to come with something a little bit different that they're not going to really expect, because I'm sure every single one of your opponents are gonna be like, damn, she's gonna go for that high kick.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm gonna have to get a little more creative now, I think.
Start doing some roundhouse kicks or something different. But yeah, no, cool. And so in the future, do you see anything else, or are you just gonna take it, get your hand healed, and you know, take it from there?
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of take it easy. Like, you know, I trained for that first fight, and that was a really hard training camp, and then I went on vacation to Peru, and I did a bunch of hiking, and that was pretty strenuous. And then I got home, and then it was time when I was in Peru, they contracted me to fight for this next one. So I came home, immediately got into it, and so I've been in, you know, fight camp for a long time.
Yeah,
and it's
of course.
been pretty strenuous. So I'm gonna take this, embrace this time off that I'm forced to take.
Yes.
And you know, kind of take it a little easy. I'm just now getting back into the gym, and you know, I can work Muay Thai, but not really any striking, or I mean, any punching. But
of course.
And it's, you know, so
No, that's cool.
just kind of play it by ear.
Yeah. So is your hand actually like? Does it hurt? Is it actually like really painful?
No, you know, it really hasn't bothered me. Even when it was broken, I had to wait like a week before I could get in for surgery. Even like right after surgery, it really didn't. I don't know if I just have a really high pain tolerance, or if my surgeon was just that good. Like it just really wasn't that bad. Like I was still, even when my hand was broken, I was at work starting IVs.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing.
Wow.
Like it really hasn't been that bad of a hindrance. Like it's a little bit uncomfortable, but I won't say that it's like painful.
So how's it been like stepping back into the gym after that fight that you won? I mean, is everyone like, you know, giving, you know, props and, you know, showing you a different kind of level of respect, or is it kind of like pretty much the same as before?
I think a lot more people are kind of noticing me. And, you know, like one day I walked in and everybody just like stopped what they were doing, and everybody broke out into applause. And
oh, that's nice.
It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. Like I don't really like all that much.
Yeah, you don't like it. You don't like attention.
No, and now like everybody's like, I was at work and everybody's running in. They're like, "Oh my God, is that you on Yahoo?" And I'm like, yeah.
Did they know that you were fighting? Do they know that like this lady is a fighter? Do a lot of your work colleagues know that?
You know, they did, but I don't think anybody really took it that serious.
Yeah,
they're just like, oh yeah, she, you know, fights or whatever, boxes something on the side, and then all of a sudden, like I'm on, you know, the front page of Yahoo, and they're like, oh my God, she really does fight.
Yeah, and she's knocking people out as well. That's crazy. Is that have you ever like had knockouts like that before? Is that like the first one of that sort of like spectacular fashion?
You know, my first amateur fight I won by knockout, and actually, I broke the girl's
what? You broke her what?
Her like orbital socket. I mean, it was pretty vicious and bloody as well. And,
oh my goodness, you're dangerous. You're a dangerous girl. You look so innocent and so sweet, but oh my goodness, you're fierce. Like you're dangerous. If you ever come to the UK, I'm gonna just watch the way that I talk to you. Just be nice. You know, I won't even look at you the wrong way.
You know, I go to the UK pretty regularly. I got married in Scotland, and we're going back next May. Yeah, so I love the UK. I like the weather. Everybody's like, "Oh, this weather's such rubbish," and I'm like, "No."
Wow. So you got married in Scotland?
So, I'm from Texas. It's hot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
So you got married in Scotland?
I did.
Wow. Is your husband Scottish?
He's actually Irish. And you know, so we've. Like 2 years in a row, we've gone to Scotland and Ireland, and you know, spent some time in England. And then this next year, I think we're going back to Scotland and Ireland again. We both really love it. So
amazing.
We go back every chance we get.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So
I wouldn't mind fighting for. I would love to get the chance to fight for Cage Warriors over in the UK.
Yeah, no, of course. We try to hook it up, man, because definitely, like, I mean, a lot of cage fighting here is, you know, is really growing. You know, a lot of people and a lot of the youngsters now are getting more and more into sort of cage fighting and MMA fighting. UFC is really big here.
It's really starting to blow up over there.
Yeah, like UFC is really big. Like we've got some good UFC fighters as well, and yeah, no, it's really popping. So I mean, yeah, if you come down, you should definitely come to one of the gyms and you know, like show them how you do. You know, bring it over to them. Show them how to do those high kicks. You know, no, that's amazing.
I don't know. Joanne Calderwood it already looks like she knows how to do some.
Yeah, no, she's good. But listen, like, your knockout was amazing. But no, thank you very much, Jin, for coming on. And we wish you all the best, man. We're fans over here, so we wish you all the best. And you know what? Like, honestly, like, we can see really good future for you.
Oh, awesome! Thank you for having me.
No problem. And we'll send you over some T-shirts as well. We got like lots of T-shirts, so we'll send you some T-shirts. So if you could like just send me a DM like of where we can send it to, and we'll send you some Bethefittest T-shirts and a few bits and bobs that you can wear whilst training.
Awesome, for sure.
Excellent. All right then, Jim. Well, listen, all the best, and thank you very much.